Could you live without caffeine? For most people, the answer is no. Everyone's favorite moment of the day, the wake-me-up aroma from a hot cup of coffee. And yet, most of us drink cheap coffee, dirty coffee, sugar-packed coffee that makes us anxious, jittery, and drops our energy half an hour later. Is there an alternative? An energy-sustaining coffee that can boost your productivity, aid in burning fat, and power your cognitive engines for longer? A creamier, healthier alternative packed with CLA, collagen, amino acids, and adaptogens. A coffee that at the same time relieves stress and brain's hyperactivity while maintaining focus and high alertness. Your computer, your colleagues, and your enemies are gonna notice it. Powering up your coffee is a high return on investment thing since most people drink coffee one way or the other, day in and day out. Being mindless of your caffeine intake or coffee habits can deteriorate your metabolic health, like having too sugary coffee, can slump your cognitive performance and impair sleep, like having too much caffeine on a daily or drinking it later at night. It's like going to Starbucks every single morning to get your perfect latte with 18 grams of sugar. Now, it's not a big deal when once or twice this happens, but if it's a daily thing, we should take that much more caution of not doing something so sweet but not sweet for our health. So, I want to present you an alternative. A cleaner way to get a tasty, creamy coffee that is going to sustainably boost energy, improve your focus, and unleash your productivity. Now, one thing you need to know is caffeine will typically increase stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This is an acute effect. With that, there is an acute rise in blood sugar levels as well, which decline after a little. This drop in blood sugar in our body a lot of times feels like an energy drop. So that's the high you get from caffeine and then the drop, the low that comes right after it. Depending on whether you're a fast or slow metabolizer, this can happen faster or it can take longer to happen, or you can be more sensitive to it, so the effect is going to be more drastic, or you can be less sensitive to it, so the effect is going to be more slow. But the point of this coffee is that we can change this roller coaster of energy and blood glucose, which is not the best for one's metabolic health. So how to enjoy coffee in a more stable way? Here's how I make mine. First, pick a high quality coffee. As many of this as I can pack, the better. Organic, pure, non-toxic, antioxidant rich, mold free, etc. You get the idea. I get either organic whole beans from a local shop or order ground coffee from brands I deem high quality. If ungrinded, I grind the beans using a grinder. Pour 1 to 2 tablespoons in your French press or use a pour-over method on a high-quality filter, works just fine. For the French press, wait for 5 minutes and then squeeze down. In a glass cup, we'll add 1 teaspoon of raw grass-fed butter, 1 scoop of collagen peptides, and 4 to 5 drops of adaptogenic mushroom extract. I prefer lion's mane. Add just a little bit of the coffee and then get yourself a mixer. Mix the elements for 2 minutes until you get like a creamy texture. Then, slowly pour the rest of the coffee in the cup. Voila, you get a clean, creamy, nutrient-rich coffee. For slow metabolizers that get a bit too excited, so-called anxious or hyperactive with caffeine, consider using L-theanine. It smoothens the effect of caffeine, landing your brain in the alpha brainwave state, high alertness. I also tend to add acetylcholine to support acetylcholine levels, neurotransmission, and brain function. Yes, it gets your IQ 5 points up. Just joking. Consider the blue line your energy levels, your alertness. You have a cup of sugar-packed coffee. Here's what your energy and glucose does. A sharp drop. Now you have a clean black cup of coffee with a teaspoon of raw butter. More calories, yes, but longer lasting energy. Now you pair that with L-theanine and the brain is able to sustain focus and alertness without the jitters and anxiety for longer. This is exactly what we're looking on. Firing, but not fiery brain. Now let's discover the power of these specific nutrients and elements one can add into their coffee. Why are they beneficial? Why are they powering up our coffee? What's the secret behind? We'll delve into the science in a bit, but first I want to make one thing clear. There is a huge difference between having a fat-powered coffee, like a bulletproof coffee with ghee, butter, or MCT oil, when you're in a ketosis. The point of this type of coffee is to get you into ketosis even faster and stronger, so to increase your ketone levels to a degree where you can burn fat for fuel and let your brain function in that way, being powered by fat instead of glucose. That is completely different than if you were to have this coffee with a breakfast like an oatmeal that contains carbs. However, the central idea behind having a higher calorie coffee powered with healthy fats is exactly that, to sustain that energy, and also the other elements like L-theanine sustain the mental energy or cognitive capacity you feel. When there's caffeine, you have the uprise and then the fall, and L-theanine sort of helps extend this effect. And so the point of this coffee is to kind of stabilize your energy and make your focus last for longer. Not just because it's ketogenic, but because it has certain elements that allow it to do so, like butter, like collagen, like L-theanine, etc. Now, let's dive into the science. So first of all, having a ketogenic coffee, which is like MCT or butter or ghee oil alongside with coffee, during a carb-restricted phase can help you get into ketosis faster, as we've said. In most brains where glucose use is insufficient, shifting towards ketone metabolism is a great compensation, sort of an alternative fuel for the brain to run on. If you already eat clean, lift weights, and wear blue blockers, is there a way to optimize even further? Probably yes. Answer our 33-question quiz and see how filled your battery is from 0 to 100. Anything below 90% still has some extra energy left in the tank to be unlocked. The best thing? The quiz gives you 4 high return on investment areas to improve further. We've packed the last 4 years of research on human health and performance optimization into a simple digital product. Scan the QR code or links in the description. See you on the other side. L-theanine works by reducing the hyperarousal of the brain. So if caffeine pulls you up, it sort of slows this effect and lengthens it up. Instead of having a big spike and a drop, L-theanine helps put your brain in an alpha brainwave state for longer. So it sort of helps reduce the jitteriness, anxiety, and hyperarousal of caffeine, and it kind of lets you ride that alertness wave for a little bit longer. Science says that combined with caffeine, it improved accuracy during a test that involved task switching, it improved alertness and reduced self-reported tiredness, helping to focus on a cognitively demanding task. Grass-fed butter also contains a lot of good fats particularly things like vitamin A or vitamin E, which are potent antioxidant and important for numerous other things in the body, like skin, health, organ function, etc. But it also contains a powerful CLA or conjugated linoleic acid, which is also a potent antioxidant. This functional food is supposed to have numerous beneficial effects, working as an antioxidant. Also, CLA works as an anti-obesogenic, meaning it has satiety-promoting properties, and it may also help improve insulin resistance, contrary to popular beliefs. Then there's lion's mane. This is an adaptogenic mushroom that works as many other adaptogens, promoting a small stressor in the body to which the brain can adapt. By modulating certain hormonal responses in the HPA axis, lion's mane makes us slightly more stress resilient. Studies show that the polysaccharides, terpenoids, and phenolic compounds in lion's mane can have potent antioxidant effects and may stimulate NGF or nerve growth factor synthesis, playing a role in neuroprotection or managing neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, for example. Then we have collagen peptides, which are chains, bonds of amino acids that make up your muscles, your skin, your tendons, ligaments, and other connective tissues in the body. Supplementing collagen peptides has been associated to mostly improved function of your joints and lower joint pain and aching, then improvements in body composition, strength, and muscle recovery. Since drinking coffee is a daily habit, it makes a lot of sense to healthifies or enrichen such a daily ritual. The return on investment is just way higher when you do something every single day. I would encourage you to research some of these compounds yourself, like grass-fed raw butter, or collagen peptides, lion's mane, or L-theanine. These are all ways to sort of sustain the focus, mental clarity, and alertness you get with caffeine without having the fast, sharp increase in drop in both energy and glucose levels. Also, the point of this coffee is to be neuroprotective. So it contains a high amount of antioxidants like the CLA and the vitamin E contained in grass-fed butter, or certain terpenoids found in lion's mane, which act in a way to protect the brain. Also, you get an additional 8 to 10 grams of protein because collagen is basically amino acids. Who doesn't want that? Stable energy, more focus, and just more protein with your coffee. Until next time, see ya. Hopefully with a more refreshed, alert, and healthier brains. Bye.